Greetings all. Well, it's pretty damp morning here this morning. I pinned up almost against the wall here trying to stay out of the rain. But if you guys kind of roll back several years into the videos, you'll notice that at the very beginning of the COVID thing that I had come on and said, this is a messing with people's minds. Yeah, that COVID was affecting our thought process. It was intuitive. I could see it. I could feel it. I don't know how to describe those sorts of things, but I'm an intuitive individual, and it was in the first week that the disease started to move into the United States that I looked and I said, oh yeah, because, most of us as human beings, we don't really believe that our thoughts, emotions can be hijacked by tiny organisms, but that's the truth. Rabies is a virus, right, Gracie? Yeah, kitties know all about rabies viruses. We don't want them to have that stuff. My cat just kept running up here. Yeah, there's rabies viruses, and we know that they make the animals angry and they want to bite. And this whole process happens because the virus accumulates in the saliva, foaming dog mouth. And when they bite, they spread it to everything else around them. And so here we have a case where the virus is making the animal aggressive. It's changing the way it thinks. Similar situation with the plain old common flu, which is a virus. And again, this is not commonly known information, apparently, but it's medically correct in that the common flu tends to make people more sociable in the first 24 hours that they begin to contract it, before any symptoms are really showing of disease. And so they want to go out, they want to hang out at the bar with their friends, talk story, and so they can spread the disease. Again, here's a virus affecting the way we think. But we don't know it, see. And most of us don't even believe it. Oh boy, I'll tell you what, when I brought this idea forward some years back, the beatings I took, really, yeah. Ignorant human beings who have little education and don't research anything and only have belief systems jumped on top of me and just made me feel like I really wished I hadn't even said anything. I probably shouldn't have. The reason why, didn't make any difference. I just felt it was important that people should know this. And I don't just come up with these things and go, oh yeah, it's true. I started doing my research, and I went through medical colleges and hospitals in England, in Germany, in Taiwan, because at that time the virus had not quite made it to the United States very much, okay? And it was really happening, though, in Asia and Europe. And they were studying it, and they drew the same conclusion that I did, except they did it from a medical scientific viewpoint by observing their patients, and said, yeah, it messes with the mind. The way it works mostly is that it has severe damage to the gut flora. Yeah, this is your dopamine-producing bacteria. It's random. We don't know exactly, it's different for different people. But it messes with that, and that's your gut brain, okay? That's your happy brain. If you lose the dopamine-producing bacteria in your gut, it's pretty hard to smile anymore. Well, anyway, so like I said, it was a waste of time. I was right, even though people told me I was psychotic. I was everything under the sun. It was really embarrassing. It was such a sad thing that people are so silly. But, it was a waste of my time. It turns out it was actually true. And now we have an entire world, actually, but let's look just at the U.S., a whole country where people have contracted a virus that affects the way they think. It generally gives them anxiety, depression, or PTSD in the worst. At least it develops anxiety, worry. And we're looking at the situation today. The world's lit, okay? You can't do anything. They can't even run Congress, Congress is a complete disaster. We're ready for the holy city of Jerusalem to ascend with the chosen 5,000 and leave the rest of us here trapped in the bottomless pit with the seven-headed beast. Yeah, it's sort of looking that way. Bad times. Yeah, right, Gracie. Well, and I can attest to the fact that this stuff definitely messes with you. I had numerous vaccinations when I contracted the disease from my son. And I didn't get it, to the point that I ended up in the hospital. It didn't rip my lungs out, but it was pretty bad. Vaccines or no vaccines, it was not good. But what I'm discovering, at least I think I know this, and that is that vaccines or no vaccines, doesn't matter. The vaccines probably keep you out of the hospital, back then when the thing was really raging here and mutating, but it doesn't seem to have any effect on the long haul. Yeah, whether you had a vaccine or not, if you caught that stuff, you still ended up with a long haul. And the long haul basically boils down to, I don't have the energy I had before the stuff hit me, nor do I have the enthusiasm for life. Yeah, I'm depressed. That's the way it is. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, this is not my first go around at a goat roping with depression and things, and so I'm familiar with the situation. I'm dealing with it, but it's not good, as it's everywhere. And then my son, who works in a pharmacy, the youngest son, he's in a situation where I do believe that kid has contracted COVID 5 times. Now, he's vaccinated to the hilt, too, and so symptoms he gets are relatively minor, but yeah, he's got about 5 infections. That kid's got his gut flora wiped. And, one day, I realized that my son's just stopped talking to me. I'm going, is it because I'm a jerk? It could be. I don't know. I had sent numerous emails. I had left numerous phone messages. Right, Gracie? Yeah, Gracie watched it all happen and never got back to me. Finally, I really kind of read him the riot act. I said, what gives? And, here we go. Aside from the fact that I'm pretty certain my kid's carrying long haul, and I think the other one is too, but they both have weight and blood sugar problems, the older one worse than the younger one. And so they started taking these drugs, like Ozempic type stuff, that stuff came into the market originally, and it was really for controlling of blood sugar problems, diabetes. It was a diabetes type drug. Then all of a sudden one day somebody figured out, we can lose weight with this thing, and now it's a weight loss drug. And man, you know how many people there are in this country that are obese? You know how many people got blood sugar problems in this country? Well, I tell you. So they went to it like it was a magnet. Both of my kids, of course, they both had blood sugar problems anyway, so the drug was appropriate, I guess, for their situation. But, I come to find out that that's what happened. Yeah. My kids start taking this dope. Next thing you know, they don't want to talk to me. They withdraw. They became depressed from the drug. But I think they were already depressed from the COVID. Now we're pushing this stuff, all right? And it's sort of like, it reminds me of the opiate thing, where they knew what they were doing. And they knew, just like any heroin pusher, it hooks you. Yeah, they knew. So I'm not going to look at this one as being any different. When they released this thing and said, this is a diabetes drug, right? Well, actually, we know it's a weight loss drug. We know everybody is fat. Yeah. So we all start taking it. Well, now what? Well, I get a email from my son, the youngest one, who has overcome his angst after I read him the riot act and said, look, I ain't going to be around here much longer. You want to talk? Yeah, talk. Because pretty soon you can't talk to a gravestone, Remember, there's only so much time we got here on the planet. Use it well. So he started talking again a little bit. I get a little bit of email from him here and there. And, well, I come to find out that he went into the doctor for a wart. And they removed the wart. But then, for whatever reason, the doctor decided that they would adjust his Ozempic upward. And, all right. But then he reads off an antidepressant I have never heard of. Now, he's in the pharmacy. I'm not. All right. But he said, yeah, the doctor prescribed this, it should help with mood control and things. And, well, I was aware the kid had some depression going on. And, well, this type of mood-altering drugs, in my book, I don't like them at all. But, whatever. It beats not acknowledging that he's got a problem. And so I just kind of encouraged him. I said, look, Alex, I've been through that stuff myself. There was a time in my life during a divorce, and I lost all my property, and my family was destroyed, and so on, where I really fell into deep depression. Yeah, I was hurting. And, they prescribed drugs, and they tried another, and another, and another. I don't remember how many. They were awful. Yeah, the side effects from the antidepressant drugs back in those days, that would have been the 1980s. Oh, they were miserable. Trying to remember the name. Well, I can't. Someone else out there remember this one, but there was a drug they were giving people for depression, and it was causing them to either be suicidal or homicidal. Yeah, they gave me that one. Prozac, that's what it was. Yeah, they gave me some Prozac, and one day I felt like I wanted to off myself. The next day I thought, I'll probably just have a hunting accident with my ex-wife, or say, yeah, really. Yeah, and I'm going, what is going on here? This is not like me. What is happening to me? Well, once I stopped taking the drug, that went away. My depression didn't go away. But the problems associated with the drugs did. And so I don't like them at all. I corrected my depression issues out of sheer will. And that's a whole other story. And yes, you can in most cases. But the doctors, they love to tell you that, no, you got, well, at least this is what they used to say. I don't know if they still say it. They'd say, you have a chemical imbalance in your brain. That's why you're thinking the way you do. And these drugs will help you straighten out that chemical imbalance. Oh, no, you can't stop taking them, because if you stop taking them, the chemical imbalance comes back. And I'm going, you guys are full of it. That is such a line. Now, there are many different levels of depression, right? I mean, there's many levels. I've never been down much past about, let's say, the mid-threshold level, okay? I've never really gone down to the complete black hole where I couldn't find my way out. By understanding your thoughts, looking at them, taking charge of the situation, and not allowing yourself to go down the rabbit hole. That's with depression. We get a brain wiring thing going. That's why they say you have a chemical imbalance in your brain. It's sort of true, but the imbalance is created by your thoughts. Yeah. The way you think wires your brain. Okay? All your memories, everything you do, basically, it alters the wiring of your brain. And of course, if you get yourself into a down thing, you begin to wire downer brain wiring. And the chemistry that goes with it, too. Yeah, you create the situation. Now, I suppose some people are literally impossible. Without drugs, they would probably just kill themselves overnight. Others, though, they just don't feel right. And that's the kind of depression where I really don't think that these drugs are good for anything except, as I told my son, use them like a training wheel. That it may help you come back to realize what you've lost. That if you can remove some of the depression and you begin to get some positive thinking going in your brain again, you may suddenly realize where you've been and where you need to go to. And it is possible to work yourself out of that. The old Freudian on the sofa situation with the head shrinker, that is actually probably the sort of things that most of us really need. The happy pills aren't going to do it because they're a Band-Aid. You can use them as a tool. I did. yeah, they helped me remember what I used to be like before I became depressed. I said, oh, this is what I've lost. So I worked for it. Well, son of a gun. Then I got COVID, and now I'm here again. You guys wonder why you don't see so many videos? I don't feel like making them. That's it. Yeah, I feel some enthusiasm, some motivation for existence to do these things, you know? Well, anyway, so I didn't react too negatively when my kid said he'd taking some antidepressant drugs. I said, well, he needs it. It's not the solution, but he needs some kind of help. It's a step in the right direction. Fine. Next day, I turn on the talking heads and the morning TV news, and right there it is. They haven't necessarily made a perfect link between Ozempic and depression, but several of the other drugs that do the same thing have been conclusively linked to people with suicidal thoughts, depression, and so on. All right, so what a racket. It's like the opiate thing, man. They let this thing out. They say, oh, yeah, it's for your diabetes. This is a necessary drug. This is really going to be a thing, you know. Well, we're not telling you that you're going to lose 20 pounds and you're going to really like that, you know, and so you're going to keep taking the stuff. Well, we're not telling you either that it's got a side effect, it's depression, and so, oh, that's right, we're going to have to sell you happy pills on top of it because you're taking the weight loss drug. Yeah, it's a chain reaction. It's not a good one. I don't trust it, personally. I don't trust it. But you know, I've kind of been in a sort of similar situation once. They've been fighting with my blood pressure for years. I have first Army physical for Vietnam. I had high blood pressure. It's nothing new for me. It's just the way my body is plumbed, I guess. Veins, arteries don't stretch well. They're not very elastic. And, well, so they try all these different drugs, you know, and the fact of the matter is most of these drugs for blood pressure regulation, they don't affect whatever it is that's my problem. They affect other things. They do all kinds of things in the body that for other people might work. But in me, I can take all the blood pressure medication that they have out there, and I have almost no effect on my blood pressure whatsoever. Yeah. But I get the side effects. Oh, do I get the side effects? Every one of them. Oh, man. Yeah, and usually even the uncommon ones, right, Gracie? Yeah, my kitty's right here. Yeah, but she's been a good girl. Yeah. So, side effects. Anyway, I believe the drug was labetalol. That's a fairly common blood pressure regulator, and well, they prescribed it to me, and I'm taking the stuff. Well, next thing you know, boy, if I got a backache. Well, I have a severe back injury, actually. It will probably never heal. Sacrum got knocked out of alignment back there, and things just tore up pretty good in the lower back. Bicycle and motorcycle accidents, hitting the pavement hard. Yeah, so it doesn't surprise me when my back hurts. I didn't make the connection. I did not realize that labetalol was causing my backache. I went back to the doctor. I said, oh, God, doc, my back killing me. This aspirin ain't doing it, Tylenol. And so they went ahead and they wrote me narcotics. Yes, I had Norcodin. Well, here you've got a case where they're trying to fix my blood pressure. The blood pressure drug doesn't work on me, okay, because the blood pressure really didn't go down. And yet it gives me a horrible backache. So what's the doctor do? Prescribe narcotics for my backache. This is similar to this whole thing with the weight loss drugs and the antidepressant drugs. It really bothers me. Now, in the case of the doctor who was prescribing these medications for me, he didn't intentionally know what he was doing. It was my business to finally figure out that it was a side effect from the darn drug, and when I stopped taking it, the backache went away, and I didn't need painkillers. Okay. And these days, lucky for me, I have discovered that Delta 8 THC is the most effective material I've found so far for my blood pressure. It expands the circulatory system, so, and brought my blood pressure right down. So anyway, we can't keep heading down a dark rabbit hole of social depression, because that's what we've been doing, okay? People are so unhappy, and even in situations where they ought to be happy, they're not. It's because they can't be happy. When you get that depressed, you can't see your way out of it. It's rampant, and now we have more than one cause for it. Yeah. First it was a virus and all the other usual causes why we get depressed. And then it was a weight loss drug. This is compounding. I don't like the looks of it, folks. Glad I'm over here. Yeah. Well. Okay. Y'all hang loose, folks. Aloha.